We are at the Charleston Chronicle with native and a long-time journalist Barney Blakeney, and Blakeney, and we're talking about the incredible rise of fame of Tim Scott, a local from Charleston, to becoming U.S. Senator of South Carolina, and now rumored to be a potential nominee for vice president by President Trump. Can you tell us how Tim Scott started out here in South Carolina?
Started out as a councilman, county council member.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I don't know if anybody had heard of him.
No, nobody's heard of him until he became U.S. Senator.
Yeah, well, in South Carolina, we knew he was.
Yeah, but that's only in South Carolina. Yeah. Okay.
But he was an anomaly, black Republican. Tim was young, good business, straight up 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I think that resonated with a lot of people, black and white.
Hmm.
So despite the fact that he had that political affiliation, which has been, for whatever reason, counter to black culture.
Yeah.
We're born Democrats.
Yeah.
People embraced him. So he's always had, I think, a strong following in the African American community, despite, again, the political affiliation.
Okay.
But Tim, on county council, one of the things he did was initiate fair pay and was advancement for African American employees, which had not been done prior.
And that sounds like a weird issue for a Republican.
Yeah. Well, he's black. He had to play both sides of the fence.
Okay.
And I think he did a good job of it.
Fairness, yeah.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job of it. And in terms of bringing quality of life resources to neglected African American communities, particularly rural communities, Tim was sensitive to that and worked towards making those things happen for those communities. That resonated with people. And although a lot of people wouldn't admit it, a lot of black people wouldn't admit it because they don't want to admit that they support a Republican.
Yeah.
They had to support Tim because of what Tim was doing. Those in the know understood
what he was doing.
Yeah. Some black leaders would always negate that for political reasons.
All right.
But and those are the voices you heard. But those in the know would support him.
So this is like the Bob Woodson to Jack Kemp, now Paul Ryan tradition. Tim Scott's right in there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he's doing it.
Yeah, he's been in it with the Opportunity Zone was one of the latest manifestations of his.
Opportunity Zone is a tax credit for economically depressed, basically black American areas, both urban and rural, because there's poorest areas where if you keep your property or your investment for 10 years, it's no capital gains, no taxes.
I don't know the details on
it.
But
and Senator Scott did that with Cory Booker. So it was a bipartisan deal of two black senators doing the most transformational thing for our country and our communities.
Which we have to be careful in terms of how we implement, because people take advantage of that.
But that's what we as reporters are. No, we as reporters, we have First Amendment rights. We put the bad guys in the newspaper as we put the good guys.
Yeah.
And they don't like such.
He's been, I think, of real value.
Yeah.
At the national level, as he was at the local level.
Yeah.
As a county councilman.
Okay.
A lot of folks didn't realize, and I think that's where Tim really got a springboard ahead. A lot of the stuff that he proposed as the only African American on Charleston County Council, and again, this was in the 90s, I forget the year specifically.
Yeah.
Because we've only had one, at most two, at a time out of some 9 members.
Is that right? Yeah. Only 1 or 2 out of where it's Charleston itself is?
Yeah. Now we have 3.
3?
I think the most and that's only happened since we did single-member districts.
Okay.
That's been in the last maybe 20 years.
So it's more incredible that a black politician is elected by white Republicans. Yeah, so that's really.
Tim got in because he was Republican. And we had at that.
They didn't notice the skin color.
Yeah, I think they did it because of his skin color.
They voted for him because of his skin color.
And then Tim represented a lot of the conservative views. Still does.
More economic or social?
I think economic, but that dovetails
Into the social.
into the social.
But in the black community, they tend to be socially conservative also.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Tim's been able to walk that line.
Okay.
You know, he pisses some people off.
Which is good.
You know, always.
A politician that doesn't anger people,
Ain't doing
no, he's just sitting there treading water.
As a reporter, you ain't pissing nobody off.
You ain't doing your job. If everybody's happy with your stuff, you're...
Yeah. I ain't here to talk about roses.
So what do you think? Because the talk is Nikki Haley won't get the VP nomination that they've been talking about in the party, and that would go to Tim Scott, and she would take Tim Scott's Senate seat. How transformational do you think Tim Scott is a vice president and the favorite to become president, even if Trump resigns, either impeach or he decides to resign because he wants to go back to business? How transformational would that be?
It would be if it was... if we did things according to how it's supposed to be done, but we all know the vice president's job is just a placeholder.
I know.
Much of it. I mean, for the most part.
But
So to put him there would be to put him in storage.
until one heartbeat away?
And until what, you know? Well, I mean, Trump ain't going nowhere. If this guy gets reelected, he'll finish his term.
No, I mean, I think Trump is a little concerned about his business, so he would like to leave the White House to take care of business.
White House has been good business for him.
No.
Well, they say his fees at his hotel just went 100%
Yep.
increase. So I mean,
Yep.
it's been bad. And I mean, those connections, you can't beat them, right?
You see, our new reporters know about Twitter and social media, but they don't work in olden type news things where we had to go out and get our news stories, and we weren't allowed to print anything unless we saw the person face to face. No, emails, no email comments. But
That's changed, of course, but some of us still old school.
okay.
You know,
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
my pleasure.